Lila, and Teeps, and Flora, and me. Rocket.
Goose, fire!
This has happened before.
Advisor.
Get ready for a digital get-down! Just in time for September, when school's in session and computers assist in education and sometimes fun. Unlike the majority who often start at MS-DOS within 1994 to 95, I went way back. My earliest experience with PCs all started within 1991 when I encountered the old Apple Macintosh, as well as the Commodore 64 within my parents' second mom-and-pop shop. The one beside the Seaside Bridge. But starting in 1994, it became a home staple, and I very much consider it as a casual console. We do get PC ports from established games most of the time, and in these shops, my own dad would run them. And his popularity was peak since he specializes in computer repair too, ever since he first joined the Navy. I'm not talking about those random educational games you'd encounter at elementary school or otherwise. I'm only counting down those I've played on either me or my parents' own personal computers. From the Apple II to the Commodore 64, to Microsoft Windows from the 90s and now, and before wokeness, DLC, and microtransactions existed, PCs have been essential to my life, even surpassing the Xbox. Also, emulators won't be included for obvious reasons. I was always intrigued there's a world inside each one of our computers, so I hope you'll enjoy my odyssey through cyberspace. Before we begin this technical trek, let me cover some of my own personal history. Back in 1991-ish, I was at my parents' second mom-and-pop shop, known as the Garage Sale Depot, which was stationed next to the Seaside Bridge. Unlike many consumers who consider Microsoft Windows DOS as their first computer, such as 94 or 95, mine was a stark contrast. Despite those who had their first share of computer gaming such as Beavis and Butthead, Myst, Doom, or Leisure Suit Larry, the first ever PC game I've played was on the ancient Apple Macintosh, and the pioneer for me was the lemonade stand. The lemonade stand was a classic, but it was complicated and pretty much based off of luck. It is a very complicated business simulation game, and every day known as rounds, you're given a special lump sum of money from your mom, in which you use for ads and supplies, in addition to how much lemonade is made. The result of each round is pretty much randomized, probably the earliest game that requires random number generation. Each round is affected by a variety of factors, most notably the weather, from sunny to hot and dry to cloudy, and even a thunderstorm or two. What I didn't know was that even sales can be affected by road closures. I doubt it matters if you're an expert like Trump or a tyro, but it's not often easy before you run out of money after 12 rounds, max. Or being ahead of the competition, and this seems to be a launch title, if anything, for the Apple II. In 1979, the game was ported by Charlie Kellner to the Apple II. Then Apple included the game with their computers throughout the 1980s. And Minnesota Educational Computing Consortium also offered the game for sale as a part of bundles of children's software for Apple computers. I guess it's educational, but I'm not one who likes games revolving around Lady Luck, hence never liking casinos. It was an okay intro to the digital world, but it was also weird when I saw different shades while playing it. Not sure if it was just glitches in the ancient Apple or the game itself, but I find it to be interesting nonetheless. The software automatic mouth, or simply Sam as we call it, was just an entertaining find long forgotten on the Commodore. This was kind of like a breakthrough at the time, back in 1982, encountered in the early 90s, developed by Mark Barton, and sold by Don't Ask Software. It's basically a synthesized program as the system speaks to you after typing and entering words or symbols. It gives you the option to say something, and it gives you a digitized response from 1 bit no less, as the screen blanks out while doing so. Heck, there are even a few demo modes if you're lucky enough to find them. And Sam can even sing at times, such as doing the US's national anthem. It was fun, entertaining, and addictive, adding in a whole bunch of gibberish into it. I might even recite a whole fanfic or countdown script if need be. But being that it only uses 1 bit, it can have some drawbacks. Like some people said, it can have an eerie voice to it. I've experienced that before after Sam sang on the aforementioned anthem. Or if played for long enough, it can just get bland like the screen itself after a while. I'm sure hackers are more than capable on fixing different issues depending on the Commodore, Apple II, or Atari versions. Still, Sam was an intriguing discovery. Having the computer interact with you, especially as a naive 4 or 5-year-old. Even though it puts the B in basic, or in Reboot's case very inferior, I still think it's worth it to find and own a copy, before it shall fade into vast obscurity with countless computer games replacing it. Sam is still the suave man in my book. While most people would encounter Alice in Wonderland either from Disney or the original novel, to me, this was my personal pick, the Commodore 64 game itself. Well, it was after the fact I played Mario and his amazing mushrooms, it was so-so. I wasn't really good at it, and most of the riddles just went over my head. Although the graphics and sound were decent as far as 1 bit goes. How amazing of a functionality strict tech limitations can do. I liked how these were many commands to choose from, along with different outcomes from teasing, coaxing, and even singing different songs. I think this was the earliest adventure game too, even before I'd witnessed those like Shadowgate, Draken, and even Zelda. I'm sure they'd feel right at home here and become experts after beating this without a walkthrough handy. But it was thanks to Nintendo Complete that gave me the ease to those troubling trials, even over 34 years. Still, if you're in the mood for a basic adventure, or if you want to go into Alice, I think this is a decent way to do it. MegaRace, one of the earliest Microsoft DOS games I'd encountered back in 1994. Along with another contender coming up, it was like an instant favorite. Just like with F-Zero, it is a futuristic racing game involved with tournaments on vicious vehicular combat, before F-Zero X established that. Just like with the Running Man, the nameless player is enlisted during broadcasts on the channel VWBT, known as the Virtual World Broadcast Television, and the host is the ever-entertaining, hilarious geezer Lance Boyle. He was just the most iconic and best thing in the entire game, and sometimes creepy as he suddenly breaks through the fourth wall.
Are you ready for a marvel of virtual reality?
You must beat the lethal racing gang named the Master Class, led by Mr. Cool, with a K. Kinda like King K. Rool, in which DKC was released on the same year. They're housed within Fractalian space, and the AI tends to get tougher as the game goes on, to the point in which Lance won't be so relenting as much, and would instantly reject the player and call in another contestant to kill. Your car is customizable as you pick your own vehicle before each race, as well as choosing your own tires and weapons, whether it be guns, missiles, or simply just nudging into enemies before they explode. Rendered 3D graphics are used, just like Mortal Kombat 3. And aside from PC, MegaRace was also ported to the Sega CD and 3DO a year later, in which they could just cry in shame. Oh, and who can forget the awesome bonus level, the Sky Holder? I used to be a pro at that using muscle memory. And the soundtrack in Lance's lines are also amazing, even by early 90s standards. Being it's one of the earliest PC games I'd experienced, there were some negative factors such as steep difficulty curves, as well as some courses that make you nearly nauseous, especially the particle accelerator. That, along with another computer contender, VR Troopers, and Donkey Kong Country were pivotal parts of my life during second grade. But I'd very much recommend it to intermediates than beginners. Still, it's a nice addition, and the sequels, I'm kinda skeptical with, as it took me a long time to get accustomed how Top Gear 2 was so different. I would recommend this all the way, F-Zero fan or not. Another underrated and obscure PC title for the Commodore is Swinth. It's basically just a sort of game you can relax to as you listen to the beauty of 1-bit music while the system presents you with dazzling effects and colors. It was the introduction to me on several classic songs such as Enola Gay, the Funeral March of Queen Mary, which a lot of people consider from the disgusting Conquer's Bad Fur Day, the wedding canon in D, and even the tubular bells, unlike those who discovered it from The Exorcist, and what Pure Nudes did right. Actually, when I was around 4-ish, I used to think the name was Ultralight, and I've been lost of obscurity ever since, until just a lucky few years prior. It doesn't sound like much, I know, but you'd be surprised how much this game has impacted me. The nostalgia hit me like a tidal wave once I was able to find it again, courtesy on YouTube when looking through music games of the Commodore, and a few obscure song names which took me forever to find out. In fact, I recalled fantasizing with some of the songs being used on the original Star Fox for the SNES. They seemed like perfect fits, such as Saturdays in Silesia for Corneria, Oxygen 2 for Sector X or the Asteroid Belt, the excerpt from Vangelis Spiral for the Cornerian bosses, etc. It was just a rare gem that's been abandoned and then finally rediscovered after over 30 years. And just like a personal sacred document, I'd never want to lose it nor live without it. This was probably just a random encounter, one of many put onto kids since this happens to be educational. This title, however, isn't that bad actually. Mixed Up Mother Goose was just another MS-DOS game, though not quite as primordial as MegaRace and another contender. In an avatar in the player's choosing, he or she gets ready for bed and momentarily immerses into the dreamy world of Mother Goose. While there, he or she discovers that the items of the denizens are missing, and it's up to you to find them, such as Humpty Dumpty retrieving his ladder to climb the wall, bringing a lamb back to Mary, finding a pail for Jack and Jill, etc. There are 18 rhymes to choose from, and 20 items to find and give. It kinda reminds me of those 2 Mother Goose episodes in Barney, in which one, her book was eaten and needed to be put together by learning different rhymes. Or when to calm down her runaway wild goose, Clarence. Just like Alice in Wonderland, it's another adventure game, and it was released in 1987. Hey, I was born around that time. This was designed for at least the toddlers, as it's a very simple game. For instance, the player finds an item in plain sight, so he or she won't miss it. And they can only hold one item at a time until it's given to the correct owner. A lot of gamers dislike the obvious factor, just like in Nintendo games. But I never cared as long as it's designed for young audiences in mind. Yeah, there should be a challenge or two, but it can just be too intimidating for early developing minds. Sometimes I even wish life itself was simplistic. And if you want to introduce your kids to the PC world, this can be the best way to do it along with another contender later on. Another Commodore classic I'd long forgotten about was the Movie Monster game. One of several from my parents' second mom and pop shop, and I'd very much recommend this over the NES's Rampage, or even the movie it's based on for that matter. You play as several iconic kaiju characters such as the Wasp, Spectra, Mechatron, which is a carbon copy transformer, or my personal favorites, Godzilla and the Glog. You wander around and just destroy several cities to your heart's content, whether it take place in New York City, San Francisco, Paris, or Tokyo, amongst others. Even gaining energy from bystanders and cars. And the sound effects upon destruction is so funny! The graphics are also exquisite, even as far as the Commodore goes. It was quite surprising since Epix, the same company known for the infamous winter and summer games, created this. Even featuring them at the show curtain intro, aside from the hilarious idea with Godzilla's mouthwash, as it simulated like playing an actual monster movie within a movie theater. It's incredibly entertaining, hard to put down, and I'd recommend this to everyone whether into kaiju or not, even though I'm not. This is probably the earliest encounter of kaiju itself. I was hoping for retro kaiju to highlight this since it was up his alley, but good thing I had the intense fallout, especially with his echo chambers. Now if only maybe Retroactive run by Fight All Thy Enemies can cover this. Originally, these PC games were ranked at the top spot, but I soon had a change of heart. Worms Armageddon and World Party combined still are a nice distraction, just blasting the guts out of those talkative, hilarious anthro-worms, which resulted as one of my all-time favorite video game petites. This and Armageddon has proven that even the smallest fries can be tools of mass destruction, even to the bigger bads. And I happen to love it a hell of a lot more than the asinine usual Team Fortress. So how does these differ from one another, and seem more superior than the OG game and its 3D counterparts? Well, there are a lot to offer, such as more weapons, and even different voices and languages at your disposal in the latter. The battlefields are customizable, and just having a simple 2D setting is easy enough. Both games share similar graphics, weapons, and sounds, but World Party includes unique missions in the Worm Pot feature, which allows for game modifiers. In contrast, Armageddon offers larger maps, mod support, and more extensive customization options. Armageddon is noted for its superior performance with 4K support and various tweaks, while World Party has a remastered version with 1080p and Steam functionality. In addition, many players consider Worms Armageddon to be the better game overall, due to its depth and community support, making it a more favorable choice for long-term play. The games themselves are incredibly and addictively fun to have. Seriously, once you pick them up, it's often hard to put down, especially when customizing to the different nationalities and theme songs. And these two games alone had me choose the worms themselves as one of my favorite petites, as well as a few live weapons as my toxokinetics. It's hard to leave one without the other, and so they both take the bronze medal.
Then his friend threw it, the latest device. Bogey B went and got it, against all advice. His tail was...
Along with MegaRace, this was the earliest Windows 94 game. It's educational and even more intriguing than those other Jumpstart games. I wanted to make this as a video response to Josh Scorcher's educational games a long time ago, before I drastically lost interest in him and the Chaos Theater Echo Chamber. And it wasn't necessarily about home games anyway, so I guess here will have to suffice. There are many intriguing functionalities to choose from, and I was instantly hooked, always looking forward to playing this even when often asking on borrowing my dad's large beveled PC. Although, the intro can be a bit intimidating involving the great white shark. Despite that though, it's incredibly fun. There's a 3D undersea maze in which you can explore different types of aquariums. There's another similar vibe in which you can play with a cool manatee helping him find his lost treasure. There's a few labs in which you could examine bodies of a few species such as an octopus. Or there are some engaging games like What a Sea Creature Eats, or Can You Find Me in helping identify interesting species, or educational brief coral reefs. But the biggest kicks I've had were of course the phenomenal Undersea Theater and the underwater references, with the former with FMV outstanding cutscenes, and the latter as the main attraction and encyclopedia from the Random House Atlas of the Oceans by Mitchell Beasley and National Geographic amongst others. The main man and explorer Jacques Cousteau was a bona fide genius. I remember playing this at the same home PC, which was my dad's to borrow of course. But I also remembered losing it back in 2nd grade show and tell. I never got the chance to show it, and I recalled being so upset on being unable to bring it back home. Thanks to the elder gods, I managed to retrieve it when it was just within my class desk. Never wanted that nightmare to be repeated. It'd be just as bad as being caught in a tidal wave. Forget fearing jaws or sharks. This is the true terror. I'd recommend this to everyone from 1st to even 5th grade. Or if you just need a reinforcer during school, or even Mare Month, or to spend summer vacation. Undersea Adventure takes the silver as my all-time second best. Alright, we've uploaded 9 of my favorite entries within the vast endless cyber universe. But before we get to number 1, let's display some honorable and dishonorable mentions. Feeding Frenzy takes first place, fins down. Ever since I'd first encountered this during my first vacation in Disney World, particularly the Disney Wonders massive arcade cabinet back in the summer of 2002, it has become my favorite PC game instantly. It was difficult to tear me away from the one arcade cabinet I got glued to. The perfect placement of the buttons, the round ball that enables fish movement and automatic eating. I was desperate to own a copy by Christmas of 2005, and I still own today. Feeding Frenzy takes you on an aquatic quest featuring Andy, the friendly adventurer, Eddie, the anglerfish, Leon, the clever lionfish, the comedic John Dory, and finally Orville, the orca mentor, with the occasional gentle mermaid assisting us. Our mission is to eat as many schools of fish as possible to help us grow and produce frenzy genes to expedite our evolution, all the while being literally at the top of the aquatic food chain that was once championed by the dreaded Shark King. The journeys, though, can be treacherous, whether traversing through predatorial territories, opaque caves in the ocean floor, being littered by fatal explosive kegs, or being chased down and disemboweled by the ruler himself or his many hungry minions. He's been so feared that only the orca Orville shall surpass him, while the little guys fend for themselves and clear the way. This makes me wish it had a crossover with other marine mentions, such as Undersea Adventure or Echo the Dolphin. The gameplay is immersive. There are tons of educational factors thrown in about various species. It provides you with sublime screensavers, making your computer as a virtual fish tank. The nature lover in me just can't get enough. Even if it seems very user-friendly, without any technical or trivial gimmicks, it suits the casual gamer, and it's just a perfect game to relax to and immerse yourself in. It's no question there's a sequel, Shipwreck Showdown, was created just a year after, very much like Donkey Kong Country 2. Another animal classic that made me wish it would have been made by Rare. After 2 decades, this submerged me into the deep oceans of code as well as my psyche, and nothing has ever topped it since. I'm the Ekron writer, and Feeding Frenzy is well worth to find like a rare eternal treasure. Was it the most technical or the most thought-provoking? No, but that was fine. It was fun, and that's good enough for me. Just like what my favorite YouTubers said, enjoyment is what can be looked for in a game. Now, if only Fawful's minion shall add this to his animal-loving repertoire. Summertime or any time, it's just my favorite and the best PC game you can possibly have.